last time on aboard the Opal Star as the crew was helping escort the Goliath, which is the freighter for Lumina Company, a salvage group that you've worked with before, rescuing the Basilisk. It was discovered that a ship was following you, but no one could get a read on any information, so Spectra used one of her many clever plans to lure them out. Made it look like the ship was damaged so that the pirates would come in, investigate, and you could take a bunch of them out. And that worked, except for the ship that was following wasn't following the Goliath. It was following the Opal Star, and you didn't find out until it was too late, when they had already gotten what they came for, which was Stavias. You can guess it has something to do with their father, even though they've been estranged from them for a while. You found hints of a bounty that was placed on their head by, I think it was Phantom Tech?
Yeah, or Phantasma Corp or something like that.
Phantasm Tech? It's one of the
Yeah, Phantasm Corporation is what I have down.
Yeah. They're the shell company that was behind the bounty. You haven't been able to figure out who's actually behind it, but you can guess. And you currently don't really have a good way to trace where Stavias is going, has been taken. So there's not much to do aside from continue on to the Nova Outpost that you're heading to, and just put feelers out until you find something. Spectra's reaching out to her contacts that she can trust. Dandelion, Miss Yellow, has been informed of the situation. She's not happy about this. Vi, is it safe to assume that you've let your mentor know?
Yeah, I let Z know. I think I asked if he had Kai yet or not, so he and his network can take a look at this. I think they just knocked him out or something.
Yeah, they were trying to, coax him onto the ship, but it got to the point where it was more of they were just running distraction while someone lined up a shot to try and pick him.
Yeah.
So I could just get him on the ship and explain later. He's not doing great, and you imagine there's a bit of malnutrition and dehydration going on there, so he'll be okay eventually. Will he forgive them is a different question entirely.
Maybe if they can help show that there are no nanobots in the ship or in the food or water.
If he'll ever believe that. But Kai is now with friends, and those friends can now help as well. Some of them have been in the Federation, have been in the Alliance for longer than your mentor has, so they have some connections, so you've got people looking. And Anima, do you tell your family about it?
Yes.
Tell them to keep an eye out?
Yes.
If they happen to see a very flamboyantly dressed Eldori being obviously manhandled or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. So you got people looking, and all you can do is wait until you get something to follow. But you're about an hour or so out from the outpost. What do you all do? Do you want to talk about anything? What's going through your mind? As Anima, you know you're getting close to answers. Hopefully.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that since, some ding-dongs made off with one of my friends. Haven't really thought about the rest, what we're going towards. Mostly what's going away from us.
That's fair. Vi, what's going through your mind? What are you thinking about or doing?
Vi, I'd say, is annoyed. She knows that since Stavias was kidnapped, probably at their father's request, knows that they're not in mortal danger right now, probably. And she's probably seen a few more of operations like this where people have been, kidnapped and stuff with her work on the Shadow Net. But she is not happy either.
Fair.
I think she tried at one point going through the different shell corporations with Phantasma Corporation, but she wasn't able to get very far, so she's sort of at a dead end with that.
Yeah, the way businesses are organized and filed and stuff like that is very different in the Alliance versus in the Federation, so you're realizing there's a whole different level of business jargon that you have to wrap your mind around to be able to trace it back. It's not necessarily that it's more complicated, but it's just very different structure, and there's a shit ton more businesses out here than there was in the Federation.
Okay. But yeah, there's not much I can really do to help right now with that. So that's why I reached out to Z and Kai and everyone. Well, mainly Z. Kai is taking a forced nap.
Kai is incidental in that situation.
Yeah. You've got the rest of the Nerd Squad. Kai will be back to functional at some point in the near future.
Yeah, so I think Vi is just trying to be as prepared as she can be for whatever situation she's getting into with Nova Station.
Yeah. You'll have done quite a bit of research. I'm not sure how much more you would be able to find out, but maybe kind of going back over things.
Yeah, going back over things. Sometimes she takes out especially if she's alone, she'll take out the book that she got from Sandro's vault and sort of look at it consideringly and then put it back, just thinking about the conversation she had with Spectra about maybe using that as an additional bargaining chip if needed. But without knowing how much Nova Station knows about the Federation, it's a bit complicated.
Yeah. Ty and Tally take some time to wrangle all of the unconscious bodies down into the brig, which is a special spot down in the cargo hold that's pretty damn near impossible to get out of. Tally's tried a couple of times. Spectra's succeeded once or twice, but it's hard to get out of if you're put in there. Unless, of course, you use the Captain Override, which Spectra swears she didn't. Nell will neither confirm nor deny. Not that there's a lot of joking going on in this moment, that was probably more previous conversations, but between Ty and Tally, even if some of these unconscious people wake up, all Tally has to do is turn off the gravity and she and Ty can handle whatever they throw at them.
I think Vi may call at one point, do you really need all of them?
No, I'm not going to give you one of these unconscious bodies unless Spectra says I can. You have to get Captain's permission.
Okay.
And then you just get a text on your sim unit. We're gonna hand some of them off to Alliance personnel, but I might see if we can keep one or two, because I have questions.
Oh, good.
She's pissed. She's offended. Nell's upset. It's a little hard to tell if Ty is upset, but Ty is upset.
Yeah, Ty's probably at least not happy. Even if he's not quite as emoted.
Yeah. And Spectra is taking this very personally. Also, Vi, you can read this just with your insane perceptive abilities and the fact that she's not probably trying to hide it. Roll insight and I'll see how well she is able to cover.
Okay, I will try the dice
Murderous
roller.
intent.
Yeah. How much murderous intent is there? Okay, 12. Not great.
Roll against murderous intent.
I'm having Spectra roll with disadvantage because this is not a situation she finds herself in often. She got an 8. Logically, she knows that there's no way she could have seen this coming. There's no way she could have known. But she still does blame herself for letting something like this happen.
Look at these blame game nerds.
Whenever she's not reaching out for help, she's looking into jotting notes for how to better improve security protocols, which this ship is pretty damn secure. And looking into, like, what upgrades do we need to get? It's definitely one of those. She looks like someone who realizes I might have gotten too comfortable with my current security setup. There's always more out there and I need to be prepared because I need to be able to protect my people. Also, her eyes are black. Her eyes like oscillate between like different shades of green and blue. This is something new. So the rest of the journey is uneventful as you continue on to... The place you're going to is referred to as Nova Outpost 31. You're pretty sure this isn't like the main Nova station hub, but they have outposts and stations everywhere. No one knows where the hub is, aside from probably like 5 people that are like top brass in the Alliance, because it just... That's something you keep compartmentalized on a need-to-know basis because of the stuff that they research, but... You're going to Outpost 31, and as you're approaching, Spectra makes some of the walls transparent. Once again, keeping the frames to help give your brain the sense that you are not floating in the void of space. And you've passed by other stations. It just looks completely ordinary, unremarkable space station. I'll say if you want to give me a perception as you look at it.
Sure. 19!
11.
Anima just looks like a ordinary station to you. Vi, you notice signs of some more advanced security that seems to be very, very well hidden. It's designed to look ordinary, but it's still well fortified and protected. As you are part of the escort for the Goliath, which is housing the basilisk, you imagine shouldn't be an issue, but if anyone tried to approach and come in unauthorized, they would be handled and dealt with pretty quickly and have a hard time sneaking up on this station. As you see spots where they have extra sensors and radars and some additional armament and weaponry. You just see these spots, because I think you spot it because you know where people hide things like that. Just with your job, you know where to look because you know where you would have hidden it if you were trying to make something look ordinary and unassuming.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And it just looks ordinary. Takes a while to get through and clear security to be able to dock. This is actually where you split from following the Goliath. They are directed towards a different docking bay. Because, bigger ship and they're going to have a different kind of meeting than you will. And I'll say that Ty is also on board the Goliath right now. You'll meet back up with him later, but he's going with them to represent the Opal Star in those negotiations. While the Opal Star is being directed to a smaller docking port and couple levels of clearance and verification that you have to go through. Spectra handles that up until the actual landing. And what are y'all thinking about or doing as the Opal Star pulls into this, I was gonna say ordinary looking area? It's a lot more obvious that this place is very secure once you get within the docking bay.
Vi, when she first saw the security, thought, well, that would have been helpful with the kidnappers earlier. But, oh well, we'll get them back. And she just sort of makes sure that there's nothing illegal on her person, or that would be considered a security violation, just in case.
Yeah, I think your weapons are you have a pistol and your daggers and a saber.
And my gauntlets, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, Anima, what's going through your mind? Actually, better question. Can you give me a wisdom roll?
Sure. 16.
As you're pulling into this station and getting ready to disembark, you get pieces of memories of the last time that you were in a Nova Station hangar bay with Dottie. Just pieces. She was excited about the project of whatever thing you were assigned to do. And you're probably kind of excited too. This is a cool opportunity. A little sad that you won't be able to see your family for a couple months, or you don't remember how long it was supposed to be. But you just remember she was excited, and there were pieces of that memory that it's a little similar to what you're experiencing now, but it's not quite the same. There's something that doesn't quite kind of fit or line up. So as you leave, are you all going in armed and armored, or maybe lightly armed?
Yeah, I would say Vi still... I mean, she still definitely has her jacket on. That counts as her armor. I don't know. She'd almost, I think, get Spectra's opinion. She wouldn't want to go completely unarmed. But, like, if the saber and pistol is going to cause an issue, she may, I don't know, put that in her pack. Or if that's not acceptable, leave at least the pistol. The saber has the collapsible frame.
Oh, that's cool. I forgot you had one of those.
Yes. Basically, Vi's not expecting a fight, but she'd rather be prepared for one that isn't gonna happen than be caught unaware.
Yeah, I think Spectra's response is, they'll understand a certain amount of precautions just as habit. We're going to be very safe here, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be under an armed guard the whole time. Just a basic precaution.
Okay, I would just rather be prepared for something that doesn't happen.
As you see, she has a couple of her... I don't remember what all she is armed with, but she has like a couple little cylinders that look like they might also be weapons with collapsible frames.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going in unarmed. I'm leaving the sniper rifle, but...
Yeah, that's hard to collapse.
You would think. If y'all want to bring weapons with you, you can, but it's going to be a meeting, and I won't make you roll. You get the feeling that if you try anything, that would be a bad idea. But also, like, if something happens, it's good to have some ways to protect yourself. There are no questions when you come off the ship, when you disembark and have some of your weapons with you. You do have to go through several security scans.
Yeah.
Just everyone does it. They scan you, see they register any weaponry that you have with you. Might have to, like, check a thing or two, but as long as you all play along, it's not an issue, just takes a few minutes. They do notice some oddities about your sim units. If you're still using sim units from the Federation. I mean, Tally's probably gone through and updated them as much as she can and possibly replaced some of the parts, but they do notice that it's not standard design.
I was gonna say, yeah, her Vi's sim glasses, no, they're not. She's not gonna trade those out, though.
Yeah. Like, the person that does your scan is like, where did you get these? I haven't seen this design like this before.
Oh, just out in the boonies, you know, people get real creative there. which, I mean, compared to the Alliance, it's not correct.
It has a very accurate description for the Federation's out in the boonies. Except for it's more of like the militia cult that lives out in the boonies.
Yeah.
They're just more impressed than anything. It's like, I might have to... I don't know, I feel like things like this would probably do well here. And chats about technology, different, like, some people have augmentations for their glasses, but I hadn't thought of doing, like, a sim unit in them before, at least not as far as this person's aware.
Yeah, it does come in handy.
After a bit, you are able to make it out of all of the security checks. You've got 2 armed guards. One that is Matakai, the other one is Promethean, from what you can tell. The Promethean's name is Felix, and the Matakai's name is Axel. And they're friendly, but they're armed and armored, and if they have to, they'll do what they have to.
I was gonna say, Vi's not intending any shenanigans of, like, theft or anything. Just to put that out there.
You feel like they may not get a whole lot of guests, but this is standard procedure.
Okay. Vi is a chaos gremlin, not necessarily that kind.
So they sort of flank your group as you are led through. You're in the hangar bay. You can see there are a bunch of people doing work. There seem to be a couple of armed guards because you are expected, as well as other sort of arms and armaments meant to keep anyone from entering who's not supposed to enter. Felix and Axel come up, introduce themselves, and then lead you through a door. You go down the hall a bit, kind of keeping to the outskirts of the station. The doors that are more towards the inner side have additional security on them, as opposed to the ones facing the outer ring. I mean, they're secure, just doesn't seem to take as many steps to get into them. The difference between people's offices and where they do the research. So they bring you in, bring you up to a door, and they open it, and you are led into the office of... See, it is a Kesh woman, very nicely dressed, hair pulled back in a ponytail. She stands up as you all come and says, "Oh, welcome, welcome. Glad you were able to make it all right. Welcome to Nova Station. My name is Army Panarin," she says as she holds out her hand to shake. Spectra shakes and introduces herself. The two of you to introduce yourselves.
I think Vi shakes her hand and goes, "I am Vi. Nice to meet you."
Pleasure to meet you as well.
Anima Marvala.
Pleasure to meet you as well. So, I would like to thank you all on behalf of Nova Station for your work in helping to find and recover the basilisk. It's been a mystery we've been trying to solve for a while, and now that we have the ship, we can maybe get some answers. Boilerplate legal talk. We do ask that you wait 2 weeks before starts spreading word about the discovery, just so we can have some time to look over and prepare an official statement with the answers that we've been able to find. Also, would you all like to have your names included in the announcement or the public record, or would you rather keep that private? Spectre's response is, "Hell yes, I want a big part of the public record for this." Alright. I've got so many people that I can lord this over for ages. Also, I still have a few bets that I need to collect on.
Honestly, I don't know if Vi shows this, but she's kind of torn. She doesn't want her name on the public record very much. Definitely not in a large press conference with a giant discovery. But also, that would be cool.
So, you could have it go, like, in the public records, but not be part of the announcement. So, like, if someone went to look and find, they could find out, see. But it wouldn't be, like, blasted across the universe. They will keep the information in their private company records, like keep a record that you were part of the group that did this for them. You will be rewarded for this, and they want to show their appreciation. They also know that, like, you are people that can be trusted, but then there's also they respect your privacy and understand not everyone wants to be publicly announced for doing a big thing like that for their own reasons.
Okay.
She would have explained in probably a little bit more boilerplate explanation.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I think Vi would be, like, I'm not sure I necessarily want my name to be in the official announcement, but if you would be alright with putting, like, my, first name, last initial in the record, that would be okay. I usually go by Vi, but my full first name is Vilena.
Understood, absolutely. And you see she makes a note of that. And of course you will all be properly compensated, as is being overseen by one of your associates. She looks to Spectra, and Spectra nods because she's got Ty handling the negotiations. Okay, and now that that is out of the way, just had to make sure we got that done so I wouldn't forget. You said I was informed that there was something you wanted to ask about? Spectra's leaving this one to you.
Cool.
Yeah, Vi's not saying anything either. This is Anima's.
Spectra's there in case we need someone to, like, push or, like, pull some additional favors for this, but she gives you a look and a nod that says, like, hey, your call, I'll back your play.
So, a few years ago, I was involved in a project with Dr. Dolataran Miaro.
What project would that have been?
That's the thing. I can't remember. And somehow, I ended up outside of Alliance space. Complete amnesia for 5 years.
She looks shocked and horrified and intrigued by this, and also, like, you've been sitting in front of her desk. There's, like, chairs arranged and she's behind. She just immediately starts typing things into her computer, gets the spelling of both names and roughly, like, the time range as she is attempting to find any records or information. So would you happen to remember, like, any of the people you might have been working with, where the station or base was located? Give me an intelligence check.
Nat 20, baby.
Oh, damn.
Okay. Now we're cooking with gas.
You remember more of when you first arrived at, it was in fact a station where you were working. You remember getting a tour of the station. They let you know about, like, different security stuff. It was a pretty small team. Yeah.
It was...
So there was a Dex Pithos, there Zdeno Chara. You just start listing off the names of, like, the 4 or 5 people that worked there. You remember in Andesh, you remember in Austria. You just start listing these names and you see she's, like, adding the names and the information. You remember what their positions were, like, what they were doing there at the station. Like, there were some that were linguists, someone whose experience was in mineralogy, especially when it's related to crucibles. You've got a couple people who were experts in, like, technology and engineering. You remember Dottie was there for her experience in chemistry, as well as her experience with linguistics. And just, she's got a lot of knowledge when it comes to crucibles, not as much as other people do, but it's just, that is how she met Kiara. was in researching of Crucible. That was part of how and why they got along so well. So just as you are listing these names and the information of what you remember about these people, and she's typing in and entering the information into a search and just keeps scrolling and clicking and typing, Vi, give me an insight check.
Okay. Yay! 22!
She's trying hard to find anything. But no matter how she adjusts the search parameters, double checks the spelling, goes into older records, you can tell like she's going through a lot, and she's not finding anything.
That's sus.
And she's really weirded out about why.
Oh boy. I think I'll sort of look at Spectra and relay that mentally. She's not finding anything. She's looking through all this. She can't find anything. What?
I noticed that too. Just enough to make one wonder. Part of me just looks up and remind me your name again, dear?
Anima Marvala.
Maybe I'll just check something else. Because unfortunately none of those names are showing up in our registration of any of our employees or affiliates. But keep searching for a little bit. Yeah, I thought so. I thought then your name sounded familiar. We did indeed reach out to you and your friend Dolatar. It says here they prefer to go by Dottie. Is that correct?
Yes.
We had reached out to you and Dottie about, well, specifically to Dottie about assisting with a project, and she accepted, but when it was time to escort her to the site, couldn't find her or you. And when we tried reaching out to friends, as far as they knew, two of you had already left for the job, but it wasn't someone from Nova Station who picked you up.
I think you may need to check for a security breach from back then.
Anima, give me another wisdom roll.
17.
As she says that, you start thinking, and because you now remember a lot about the layout of the station and the start of your time there, and there are a lot of similarities between that station and this one, but it's not quite the same, and it doesn't feel like the difference could be explained by the 4 to 5 years it's been. It's like someone was trying to recreate, and you remember you and Dottie firmly believe that you were working for Nova Station, but you also remember at some point, you don't remember what, but you both had the realization that the place you were working was not Nova Station.
No, you're right. And we did eventually figure that out. What the hell happened after that? I hate this. It feels like every 2 steps forward, it's another step back.
Yeah, there was actually a flag on your files for if we ever found either one of you to have someone come talk to you, because there have been incidents in the past where people have tried to set up false operations. They haven't usually been all that effective, and we have pretty good security screening, and we keep detailed records of things, and we have a team on standby if someone ever goes missing because they've been poached by a false operation to go and find them, but they weren't able to find anything for you. Yeah, we are very, very careful about keeping clear records.
Do I remember anything about the trip to this station? Or do I just remember arriving there?
Since the 20 was for remembering the people, give me another roll to see what you can remember about, this station and where it was.
Was that wisdom or int?
That would be intelligence, because you're trying to, it's a specific thing.
9.
I'll say while Anima is thinking about that, Spectra will pipe up. Did you have any reports of other people going missing within the same time frame, or signs of other false operations happening in that time? Or if you have any data, I could probably help process it or hand it to my ship's AI if you're okay with that. There were no signs of other people being poached around that time. It was just those two, but the friends were able to tell us where they left from. And we were able to gather some information on the ships that were, like, coming and going from that space, but that was a pretty busy spaceport, so... Pulls up some information and, like, projects it on the desk so you can actually see it. Like, she's, like, putting pieces out where you can see it. Because she's not going to turn around her computer monitor for security reasons, but she's sharing... Okay, here are some of the ships we were able to figure out where some of them are going, but here are the ones that we were unable to find out either because, like, things were improperly filed or they had multiple stops. So as you're looking through these ship names, give me that roll again with advantage.
Probably not gonna beat that roll, but just in case.
You never know. I mean, 18 is a pretty good roll.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you didn't beat that roll, but 18 is pretty good. As you are looking at the different, like, ship names and descriptions, and they got, like, some information on the different ships, and these were just the ones that weren't able to kind of trace where they went, or they lost track of where they went. You immediately recognize the ship that you and Dottie left on that you thought was from the Nova station. Because it was a little transport ship called the Sunburst.
There. That one. Sunburst.
She types a couple things into the computer, everything disappears but that one, and other information begins to fill, which is the different places that they were able to trace it to where it stopped. Do any of these names seem familiar to you at all? Stations, couple planets. Give me another check.
Well, I already know it was a station, right? So you can get rid of the planets. Correct?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that narrows it down somewhat. Yeah, so that narrows it down to, like, 2 or 3 stations.
8.
None of the station names seem familiar, but also if they lied about who they were working for, there might have been other lies that they told to cover what was really going on.
What about the planets that were near them? If there were any windows, you would have been able to see, like, the color of the planets, or if they were, like, gas giants or something, maybe that would help? If we could pull up what planets were nearby, that would have been in visual range. If that was true, I guess it could have been false as well.
Give me another check to see if you remember seeing any planets out the window. 19.
Cool.
Oh, well, okay.
You remember there were no planets nearby.
No planets that were visible from station windows.
So as you're going through this information, you can see Spectre's also doing some research of her own. Looks like she's pulling up, like, a visual map and, like, mapping where this ship's, like, where it stopped along the way, and is doing her own sort of investigation. You have been listening to Aboard the Opal Star, an Esper Genesis 5e actual play podcast DM'd and produced by Brian and Jean as part of Pseudonym Social, a creative podcast network changing reality one story at a time. Philena is played by Alexis Workman. Anima is played by Casey Glover. Stavias is played by Shan Smith. And the theme music, as always, is by Patrick Chester of Chester Studios. If you don't want to wait to see what happens next, you can get early access to our episodes over at patreon.com/pseudonymsocial. If you like our show, please consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcasting app so people can know where to find us. We couldn't do this without your help. To get more information on this or any of our other shows, check out our website at pseudonymsocial.com.